Welcome back to another video. This video is going to be slightly different. I'm just going to talk to you about my experiences with interviews. Just a disclaimer before I start going into the details. I'm not, a recruitment agency by any means. I'm just showing what I've observed or what I've seen on my personal basis of interviews. So I'm just going to get straight into it rather than just rambling on. So throughout the past, 2 years in particular, I've done a lot of interviews. We could just say over 2 years, I've done a lot of interviews. And when it comes to interviews, getting a job interview, whilst it's important to, read the questions that you may potentially be asked in the interview, I think literally there's another way for you to go around it and have a different sort of mindset when it comes to doing an interview. And I think that is you more or less just have to treat it as if you're talking to your best friend or having a conversation with somebody, that you've never spoken to. Maybe it's in work, maybe it's in a social place or a social event, something like that. Because let's be honest, you won't feel nerves when you're talking to people in those sorts of situations. And one of the things I've discovered as well is that when you're doing interviews as well, don't try and take it too seriously. I feel like when you take it too seriously, you end up, making a lot more mistakes. And again, like I keep on saying, I'm not literally a HR expert or anything like that. It is literally based on my personal observation. This is what I've seen. And I think some of the things I've seen and observed and done, I think literally they've actually paid off in one way or another. I'll be honest with you and say they haven't guaranteed me an interview. Well, they have not guaranteed me a job per se, I'm not going to lie to you. But it has led to something positive other than hearing the usual, unfortunately, we're not going to progress your application. And those type of emails. You know, Ironically today I received an email saying something about my application was so and so. Basically they're not going to take it through. You get it. But when it comes to interviews overall, I think one of the good things to do to get that interview is to actually break the ice. What I mean by this is that, what can be as simple as just telling a joke or, just saying something that, will get their attention. I think if you do things like that, if you're literally very cheeky when it comes to doing an interview, I feel that can also work out into your favor. Because at the end of the day, let's be honest, when somebody's interviewing you, I mean, they have to like you. It's just like when you literally watch, different TV shows, like Dragon's Den or The Apprentice. I mean, the people have to like you there, because if they don't actually like you, then your business idea or whatever you're trying to pitch or invest, it pretty much means nothing. So I think it's very important to, make a joke and stuff like that. At the end of the day, you're only just talking with people. Even if you don't get the job, it doesn't matter. As long as you can literally break the ice, say some sort of joke. I'll even give you an example. I remember a job that I applied for back in last year. It was a receptionist job role in Huntington. And I remember post interview, I remember I just made a joke saying something about, you know, why do you have a Kit Kat? Because the advert, have a break, have a Kit Kat. I pretty much said that. He laughed. The guy that was interviewing me. After when I did that interview 6 days later, whilst, you know, it wasn't literally, oh, congratulations, you got in the job. It was pretty much being placed on the reserve list. So I was placed on the reserve list, and even right now, in terms of filming of this video, I'm still on the reserve list. So there is a potential that I could get the job or not. But notice how literally I didn't get rejected. And I feel like literally all the times that I've actually said a joke or made like, funny comments and stuff like that, I feel like that's actually worked in my favor. I'll even give you another example, so it won't be like I said I'm making stuff up. Even prior to that interview, I remember back in 2024, it was literally, the 31st of October 2024, where I pretty much, was applying for another job role. And I remember literally, I was also, answering their questions. And I remember literally we made comments about, oh, you need to make people laugh when you're doing your job and stuff like that. You need to, like, build rapport. And I remember as a way to, make a joke or something, I said to them, oh, do you think I'm making you laugh? And I remember they started to laugh as a result of me saying that. It wasn't obviously part of what I had to say, but I said it because just to get their attention and to see what they would say. And obviously I knew they would laugh, you know. So that's literally just the case. And even one of the people that were interviewing me, they were saying something about how, oh, sorry, bear in mind, I'm writing too fast, not because I was talking too fast or anything. And I remember I made a comment saying, oh, I'll just, talk a lot slowly. And she said no, but she clearly knew that I was joking. And I'm not gonna lie to you. The day after did the interview, um, I literally actually got the job. It was a success, and I actually believe it's because I built rapport. So when you're doing interviews, don't take it too seriously. Don't take it to heart. If I'm being honest with you, make sure to crack tricks on your day. I mean, sometimes you might not always get the opportunity. You might not always um, slip and fall in that position. I will not lie to you. It's not every single time I make a joke in an interview. And of course, some interviews as well, depending on the job that you're doing, you always want to make sure that you're professional and you're serious. So it depends on what job you do, because I don't want to be like as if I'm giving bad advice. But I'm only doing it for jobs where it's not like as if it's like the end of the world, like a receptionist or something like such. But sometimes you do what you need to do. Of course, use your discretion as well when it comes to job interviews. But just to summarize this the whole entire video, when you're doing a job interview, make sure to just break the ice, laugh. Even when sometimes they're asking you questions as well, turn it into a joke as well. I'm not gonna pretend and lie to you guys and say, oh, take it so seriously. Make sure you do this question. Make sure you do that question. Because I've been to so many interviews back in the past, and I just think, to be honest with you, I feel like I don't know to say that I'm the best, or I'm not trying to be cocky or confident by saying this. But make sure to not to take it too seriously. Try and make jokes with the person that is interviewing you. I mean, at the end of the day, they literally took the time, to invite you to the interview. So you might as well, sell yourself very well. Not to literally, um, sell yourself so much that you're so desperate. But showing what you're all about. Because at the end of the day, you're working within a team and stuff like that. So hopefully this video was interesting. Hopefully it was useful. Hopefully some of you will put down in the comments that you were successful with your next interview. This is something that I just thought of making, and I just thought, why not make it? I think many of us, we take the interview stage way too seriously, and I think it's time to address this, what I'm about to say.